this final matchup of the Hart Soccer Tournament here at the campus of Central Methodist University, home of the Eagles, for a matchup between Central Methodist University, the number 1 seed, and the number 2 seed Mission Missouri Valley College Vikings. My name is Tristan Jordan, and joined along with me today is my coworker Nick Thomas. Nick, how we doing?
We're doing pretty good. Should be a good game. Excited to be back here in Eagle Country for this top matchup. Should be a good one.
Love it. We are here in Fayette, Missouri, on the campus of Central Methodist for this final matchup that is sure to be a wonder game, as two teams could prove to battle out as the battle of the giants, as the number 1 seed is facing off against the number 2 seed to see who can be the best men's team in the Heart of America Athletic Conference in the NAIA. Something that's significant about this game, Nick, is not only the fact that they are number 1 and number 2 in the Heart of America Athletic Conference, but they are also numbers 1 and 4 in the NAIA as an overall athletic association. So Central Methodist, of course, holding that number 1 seed, and Missouri Valley holding that 4 spot. And along with those rankings, their coaches are ranked 1 and 4 respectively in the coaches of the NAIA, as Vladimir Simic takes the 4th overall coach in the association, while Alex Nichols, the leader of the Central Methodist Eagles, takes the top spot at number 1.
Yeah, it should be a good game. We're excited to bring this to you. This is kind of a rematch of the 2018 NAIA National Championship, the one that the Eagles were able to win in overtime.
So the home team will be looking to get a bit of a repeat here, maybe not in overtime, especially with a bit of rain coming and going, as it has been almost all afternoon here in Fayette, Missouri. Some general stats to go over before this matchup. Central Methodist is coming into this game with an 18-1 record across their 2020-2021 campaign. Of course, due to COVID restrictions and all that stuff that happened in the year that was 2020, the season was split up a little bit. So both teams have played very few games since the start of 2021. Missouri Valley, of course, only playing 2 matches before this tournament has kicked off. And then they ended up playing against Hannibal LaGrange and the University of Concordia University, where they claimed 2-1 victories to find themselves here in the championship matchup. On the other side of the docket, we have Central Methodist, as they played just about 6 games in 2021, the only one of which they have lost in their 2020-2021 campaign this year was to a Division I team in the University of Central Arkansas back in February, where they fell 4-0. That's the only game where they were not able to clinch a victory. So they will look to keep that winning streak alive here as they look to be crowned champions of the Heart of America Athletic Conference.
Yeah, one thing about it, they're going to have to do it in the rain, too. It just started pouring about 5 minutes ago. We're having a pretty dry pregame, and now, well, dry as far as the weather, and then all of a sudden it started raining.
Yeah, this weather has been a little unpredictable. As I was driving up, it poured really hard, and then it was dry for about an hour, and then it poured again, and then it was dry as I came into the stadium. So hoping for some more dry weather here. Just wet the turf down a little bit, which of course will speed up the run of play, as turf already does so a little bit. But with the added wetness of the turf, it will pick up the pace of the ball, so players will not be able to send a leading ball to lead the runner as well as they would have if they were playing on a dry pitch. But as you have gotten to the championships, ideally you're able to handle that regardless. So this will truly be a test of whether or not these college athletes can show that they are equally as good as professionals. On the other side, Missouri Valley College has a record of 14-3-1 coming into this match. Even though they only played twice in 2021, they had a stellar season in 2020, which then was carried over to 21. Since October 31st, Missouri Valley has not allowed a team to score more than one goal That is 6 consecutive matches without conceding more than once in a match. It's a pretty solid starting stat to go for sophomore goalkeeper Dusan Milosevic as he leads the Vikings with 36 saves in just his 17 matches. On the other side, Central Methodist has some pretty quality attackers that will look to break that streak for Milosevic, such as freshman Theo Klein. He's a player to watch this evening as he has scored once in the quarterfinal against Mount Mercy and twice in the semifinals against William Penn, with the first being a remarkable first-time volley to give his team a 2-goal lead just in the first half. Of course, they went on to lead that by more than just 2 goals. Nick, what are your thoughts of this matchup? You mentioned that you might see a rematch here of the 2008 finals. Maybe we'll see something similar, maybe a better game of some players that have learned from those tapes of previous teams at their universities and colleges. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. It's definitely a game where these teams have seen each other many times before, including this year. And stat-wise, they are pretty similar with as far as average goals a game. Mo Valley averages 3.17. The Eagles average 3.16, according to our boss Charlie Brown's stats that he had on the computer here. And then defensively, Mo Val gives up 1.11 goals per game. CMU below 1, 0.78. So 2 very similar teams, but CMU, of course, earned that 1 seed for a reason. So it's going to be a tough one for Mo Valley, but they have proven all season they're capable of doing it, but they have yet to take down the Eagles.
Absolutely, Nick. Both teams have proven throughout this campaign that they both have goal differentials in the positives by double digits. So both teams are averaging over 3 goals scored a match, or just about, and are averaging either 1 goal or less allowed per game. So this will be a matchup of attacking giants and defensive wizards here in Fayette. As we look to get this game underway, players are clearing off, taking off their warm-ups, getting ready to go. Referees are stretching just before the start of this match.
We've got about 7 minutes till game time, so we will take a quick break real quick. And when we come back, Mr. Tristan Jordan will have the play-by-play for you. Mo Valley and Central Methodist coming up.
How do you become better prepared for today's job market? You choose a better way of learning. At Central Methodist University, we are proud to be one of the first to offer a new comprehensive digital approach to teaching and learning that changes everything. Introducing Digital U. Digital U, available only on the CMU campus in Fayette, transforms the entire learning experience. It's so much more than simply incorporating smart devices into the classroom. Utilizing technology to better engage students, Digital U offers enhanced, never-before-available learning. The technology of Digital U begins with iPads, which are provided at no cost by the university. Over time, fewer textbooks will be needed, which should mean lower cost for most students. At Digital U, students will learn in the same way in which they live, with the access and ease that only this level of technology can provide. And Digital U doesn't just transform the student experience. Faculty can use their devices for everything, allowing for more time and access to teach and guide their students. The Digital U program is made up of many advanced elements, including replacement of some traditional textbooks with ebooks, incorporation of Apple TVs in the classroom, specialized new learning apps, the ability to attend class on their device while traveling for sports, music, and other CMU activities, improved communication and collaboration, greater faculty-student connection, and so much more. Digital U incorporates these dynamic digital experiences into the traditional classroom, and students come energized, engaged, and excited to learn. Digital U is not a replacement for traditional learning. It's an enhancement, providing new and greater ways of learning. At last, A connective traditional education that moves at the speed of the real world. Get more from your college experience with CMU's Digital U. Contact us today. CMU. Be more. How do you make traditional education more effective for today's job market? You transform it at Central Methodist University. Now the only limit to your education is your imagination. The new Digital U, available only on the campus of CMU. Be more.
At last, an approach to teaching and learning that connects the traditional classroom to the real world at Central Methodist University. Now you can learn the way you live and the way you'll work with the new Digital U, available only on the campus of CMU. Be more.
And we're back here at Central Methodist University for this Hearts Men's Soccer Championship between the Missouri Valley Vikings and the Central Methodist Eagles. Getting closer to game time. Tristan, like we've said in the pregame before, and many people back at home know this should be a very exciting game, but the rain is probably going to make it just a bit tougher.
Yes, it will. This turf is going to speed up the run of play with the ball. With throw-ins, you may see players taking a couple extra seconds trying to use their jerseys to wipe that condensation off of the ball. As it is a sphere, it is already hard to grip with your hands, but if your hands and the ball are wet, it'll slip right out and you won't get much traction on that throw. And with passing on the field, you're going to see players slow down play a little bit more because the ball will naturally want to roll faster because it is turf. It's already going to be a faster game, but adding water into this as an unknown element, as an unpredictable element, you can see spots. If there's a puddle on the pitch, it may completely take the power out of the ball. It'll just stop it right there. And at other times, it may speed up play and may skip the ball a little bit faster than an on-running attacker may be able to attack. So you may see some miscues of passes, and you may see some that just fall perfectly for one team or the other, but it is all an unknown element here as we get ready for the national anthem.
Yep, getting ready to get things going as we're going to have a couple different camera angles tonight. As we want to thank Rachel Moore for supplying us with some great camera operators from Central Methodist University as we step aside for the national anthem.
Almighty God, you have created us to strive for our best. Grant to all athletes, coaches, and fans strength to pursue excellence during this event. We pray for the safety of these athletes, protect them from injury and harm. Help us to honor you today in all we do, on and off the field, and make us witnesses to your glory. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
And you just heard the prayer and the national anthem as we get ready for the starting lineups. Tristan, what does it look like?
All right, so for the away team, Missouri Valley College, starting at number 1 is Dusan Milosevic. Number 2, Gianmarco Donini. Number 4, Stefan Milosevic. Number 5, Miroslav Markovic. Number 6, Milos Grahovac. Number 8, Kanan Dos Santos. Number 13, Aiden DeBoer. Number 14, Kazuki Hashimoto. Number 15, Peter Iokovu. Number 19, Mike Mosier. And number 14, Alexa Kobanovic. And for the home team, Central Methodist University, number 1, Stefano Camerlengo. Number 4, Carlos Scheckerman. Number 5, Tom Irian. Number 10, the captain, Christian Sanchez. Number 11, Alessandro Salvadego. Number 15, Victor Luengo. Number 17, Niles Zachariat. Number 18, Mark Snogrady. Number 21, Clayton Duarte. Number 23, Alessandro Laceretti. And number 24, Theo Klein. Those are your starting lineups for this final matchup here at Central Methodist University. As we get ready, players are on the pitch, being introduced to the home stands. As we spoke of in the pregame, one team is 18-1 with the Central Methodist University, and the away team, Missouri Valley College, are 14-3-1. This has been an interesting season as it's been split up between the fall of 2020 and the spring of 2021. One team only played twice in the spring, that team being, of course, Missouri Valley, winning both of their games and then going on to win both of their games in the quarterfinals and semifinals to find themselves here in Fayette, Missouri, against the number 1 seeded Central Methodist University Eagles. Both teams have been read off to the stands as they get into their huddles pre-match. The referees will meet at center circle to prep the ball as we get ready to kick off here. We appreciate you for tuning in. A couple of players to look out for are freshman goalkeeper Stefano Camerlingo, as he started in 16 of the 19 matches played during the 2020-21 season. He was listed to the first team all-conference and has 39 saves with just 14 goals allowed this season. That, of course, is the home team goalkeeper for Central Methodist. Looks as though the visitors will have first ball here as Missouri Valley College are ready to kick this off and get this match underway. Once we get the signal from the center official, this final will begin. And we're underway here in Fayette, Missouri. Missouri College looking to take a very direct approach, sending the ball all the way down to the far side. It gets cleared out and away by Central Methodist defense. Early foul called. Free kick awarded to the Vikings in their defensive half, taking it quickly, just putting the ball back in play. Nice cutout there by the captain, and it's kept in bounds. Central Methodist looking to have an early chance here as it's taken all the way in towards the corner flag. It's put out a play there for a throw-in for Missouri Valley. Missouri Valley not quite on the same page there, as Mosier sends the ball onward and no one is there to collect. Eagles forced to clear it away. Now they're trying to keep it under control. The wetness of the pitch certainly coming into play early on. The heavy rain has ceased, but it is a gentle, consistent misting sprinkle, it almost seems, out here. So while it's not heavy, it is still consistent. Nice use of the body there. Ball goes out for an Eagles throw. Looks like it will be the captain, Sanchez, to take it. Central Methodist using this almost, they look like as though they're preparing for a long throw in, trying to get it just to the edge of the box. Scoop up a shot. Sanchez throws it down this near sideline. It's pinged around a bit. Missouri Valley doing their best to try to get it under control. Foul is eventually called by the center ref, and it will be a Missouri Valley free kick on their defensive half. Both teams looking as though they're trying to adjust to this weather. It's certainly difficult weather to play this sport in, as the ball is slick with the water, as is the turf, as are the boots of the players, so you'll likely see some slipping out there from the athletes. Milosevic takes the free kick, sending it deep down this near sideline. Sanchez gets a touch on it and clears it towards mid. Theo Klein pressing high, trying to put Milosevic under some pressure early, especially when the keeper is willing to possess the ball like that, and the offsides flag is up, catching Klein offside. Theo Klein, a freshman that we talked about early in the pregame, he's had a stellar postseason with 3 goals in just 2 matches. Nice work there from Central Methodist to work their way onto the ball, and the referee spots a foul as they forfeited possession, losing the advantage. Will be Sanchez to take this free kick just about at the halfway line on the pitch. Camerlingo coming up, looking like he may call Sanchez off, or at least provide a secondary option on this free kick. I always find it a little nerve-wracking, Nick, when a goalkeeper likes to come up towards the mid or past midway, anywhere outside of the defensive third of a pitch, to try and help with a free kick or take a penalty kick. It never seems to pan out, but in this case, Sanchez calls him off, takes the short ball, now looking for an in-swinging cross. He makes it happen towards the far side of the box, and it's headed away. A couple of heads make contact, and Central Methodist maintain possession. That time it pings out. Missouri Valley will keep it in bounds. Nice high press being maintained here from the Eagles. And they're able to win a throw-in deep into their attacking third. Can they make something happen? Sanchez seems to be the free kick specialist, the set-piece man, as he has taken every throw-in, every free kick, every stoppage of play resumption so far in this first half. We're still pretty early on. Just showing his captaincy. Leading from the front, if you will. He opts for the short throw this time. Looking for the cross. It goes in, and it is waved as though it went out of bounds behind that back line, behind the goal. The attempt was by Alessandro Salvadego, the forward sophomore from Italy. Transfer student from Unipegoso University. That's something that I noticed in the pregame and during the rest of this season, was that both of these rosters are heavy on internationals, with just about 6 or 7 Americans on the roster for both teams. And in fact, Missouri Valley doesn't have a single American on their roster from what I can tell. Central Methodist being the only one. That was a nice low cross sent in there by Missouri Valley. Number 14, Kazuki Hashimoto, trying to get the ball into the box, get it into the attacking half as the fullback tries to spice up the attack for the visitors. Central Methodist winning another throw-in in their attacking third. just on the outside of their attacking third, but there nonetheless. Sanchez this time saying somebody else take it, and eventually gets called over to take it. It's a bit of an awkward spot for him to take this throw in, as it is on the opposite side of the pitch from his position. He's been playing more of the left central defensive midfield role, pivoting in towards that left fullback early on, almost more of a wing back. So going all the way over to the far sideline on the right side of the pitch from his perspective to take a throw in is a bit uncomfortable, as that ball is sent nicely in towards the box. It's headed away by Missouri Valley, just over a leaping Scheckerman, who was trying to get his head on it to either put it on frame or settle it down a little bit more comfortably before a shot from one of his teammates. Sanchez will take this throw in as well. He has 5 teammates in and around the box, 6 if you count around. He opts for the short throw. Shot was taken but deflected. It's put in towards the box. Klein tries for the spectacular. It's deflected out and away. Central Methodist able to head it and clear it back onto the attacking half. Milosevic is forced to come way out of his box to boot that one time, and it bounces all the way over the side fencing. That ball is likely gone, as Central Methodist is awarded a throw-in around halfway line. Couple of players to watch out for from Missouri Valley College. We haven't seen much out of their attack, but definitely keep an eye out for sophomore center midfielder Kanan Dos Santos. As a cross is sent in from Central Methodist. Goes over everybody and all the way over to the near sideline, where it's collected. Looking for another cross. It's sent in, deflected off of a defender. Referee blows the ball dead, as there was arm-to-body contact there from Mark Songrady. But Kanan Dos Santos has been on a tear of impressive form for Missouri Valley, as he's put up 6 goals in just his last 3 matches. The Brazilian leads Missouri Valley with 13 goals from just 34 shots on target. It's about just over a 20% conversion rate, which for college soccer isn't terrible. It's actually pretty good, but you know what they say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so more power to him to take as many shots as he can. I believe he has something over 50 shots, but 34 of them are on target. So those odds are certainly higher. If he keeps up that form, surely the keeper, especially in this kind of weather, with the gloves being as wet as they are, with the ball being as slick as they are, it'll be a lot harder for these keepers. I know I've been talking about the weather a lot early in this broadcast, but specifically for the field players, but now discussing it from the goalkeeper's point of view as that ball goes out for another throw-in for Central Methodist. The goalkeepers are going to be struggling to maintain possession with their hands, as the ball will be slippery in those rubber gloves. As you've seen early, Milosevic is opting to come way out of his box to clear the threat without having to use his hands, risking the overconfidence in his ability to use his hands in his box. So far it's paid off, but can he hold out much longer, as the pressure from Central Methodist seems relenting, as they've definitely been maintaining the bulk of possession. Sanchez opting for the short throw, gets it in towards the box. Looking for a cross now, sliding his way past a couple of defenders. Ball in towards the box now, looking for a shot opportunity, takes one, and it pings directly into the chest of Milosevic. Shot taken by Salvadego. Great look there from the Italian. Ball goes out for a throw now for Missouri Valley. Central Methodist doing a great job in this first 10 minutes or so, maintaining possession, keeping the pressure on, just unrelenting on the attacking half. Finally, Missouri Valley given some space to make some passing, try to make the game look a little bit more elegant under these weather conditions, and the ball is hit poorly off a foot and takes a weird spin off of that wet turf and spirals out of bounds for a throw-in. Hashimoto taking that clearance off the face. Able to stay in bounds, and the referees all say otherwise, as that ball is whistled for a throw-in. Hashimoto trying to take it quickly. Center officials calling him back further to where the ball left the field. Salvadego trying to slide and save that ball, keep it in bounds to maintain possession on the attacking half unsuccessfully. And a poor first touch there from Miroslav Markovic, the right winger on this near side for Missouri Valley, as that ball goes out of bounds for another Central Methodist throw. Regardless as to the pressure from Central Methodist, Missouri Valley has held their own in these first 10 to 12 minutes. But can they hold out much longer? There's another throw-in from the same spot from Sanchez. That time it goes over the head of Salvadego. Bounces off of Sanchez. Is able to keep in bounds as Central Methodist tries to dribble it down this near sideline. Lacerti trying to push his way through, blow through defenders. Unsuccessfully goes the left back. Nice passing 1-2 plays there from Missouri Valley. And a nice cutout from Irian, the center back, as he comes all the way over to provide support on man coverage. Referee calling Scheckerman over to have a talk as he saw an extension of the forearm into the back.
Yeah, it sounded like the Mo Valley sideline was calling for it.
Absolutely. Markovic was definitely not happy with the placement of that. I felt as though I made eye contact with Markovic and didn't look like there was enough contact to have that kind of a reaction physically, but either way, they drew the foul. Doesn't matter whether it was real or not as long as you get the field position. Missouri Valley with the free kick, sending it in towards the box. Couple of bodies, and it goes over everybody's heads, and it's cleared away out to the far sideline by Lacerti, the left fullback, who's had to move all the way over to the right side.
Starting to rain just a little bit harder, too. It makes me happy, not to brag, but we're in the press box and not outside.
Absolutely, Nick. I know the players are not sharing that joy that we are, and it's, of course, circumstantial joy.
Of course, they're also running around, though, too.
Also true.
So that helps.
Definitely. There is pressure coming here from Klein, forcing Milosevic to clear that away first time. Nice attempt by Klein to flick that ball onward. Appeals from Central Methodist for a free kick are met with a whistle from the center official. He blows for a free kick just about on the American football 45-yard line. But for soccer, we would say it's about mid-pitch. Looks like they're going to take this opportunity, trying to put it in onto a teammate's head as Sanchez raises his hand to take the free kick. He's got 7 teammates in and around the box looking for the head, and there was a pull-down. Appeals from Central Methodist. It looked like a penalty kick to me. As you can, I'm sure, hear the fans shouting for a penalty as Scheckerman was dragged down by his collars by the Missouri Valley fullbacks. Referee eventually blew for a goal kick. Didn't look like it made any contact with Scheckerman as he was pulled down before the ball reached him. Clearly my eyes saw something different than the official. As this ball was put back into play, a nice head-on and another to go all the way back to Camerlingo. Opting to slow down the play here, allow his teammates to catch their breaths. Theo Klein gets contact on it, sending it down towards this left side. Looking for the cross, makes his way past one. A shot attempt towards the far post is snagged out of the air by Milosevic. Nice run there by Clayton Duarte. He has certainly he had a bit of a rough start to the season, struggling to find his form, but in this second half, he's definitely been solidified in his form, helping his team by leading in assists. Shot there, and it's off the inside of the net, and that is a goal. Central Methodist take an early lead. Number 11, Alessandro Salvadego, takes the start, as there are now benches getting frustrated on this near sideline. Words are being exchanged. Looks like one of the substitutes or assistant coaches from Missouri Valley was not happy with the celebration from Central Methodist. Now fans are coming all the way over to help out.
Goodness gracious.
Absolute chaos has erupted following the first goal. Referees are having a discussion as to whether or not there should be any punishments handed out, people removed from the match. Camerlengo reinforcing to his team to keep them on the field.
That's a first.
I have never seen that before.
I have never seen that at the college level. Well,
referee walking over, he's pulling, and a red card has been issued to the goal scorer, Salvadego. He must have said something to the Missouri Valley bench. Coach Nichols asking for replay of the video. Not sure what happened, what was said, what was done. Clearly something. Salvadego going over to the Missouri Valley bench to have words of his own. Central Methodist not having it, pulling their player back over. Referee having a conversation with Salvadego as he is now ushering him off the pitch. And just as Central Methodist seemed to have a hold on this match, it slips from their fingers as they will play with 10 men for the duration of this match. Both benches are now intermingling again. Camerlengo coming over to pull his players away from the center official. Coach Nichols is having words with the sideline official, the assistant referee. The center official is having conversations with other members of the coaching staff. A reenactment is happening from Coach Nichols on this near sideline, just about the 45-yard line on the American football lines. All the players are now ready to get play resumed, as there has been an outstanding amount of time wasted with this whole confrontation. Still not entirely sure what happened. Coach Alex Nichols is adamant that whatever happened wasn't harsh enough, or maybe he just completely... I am at awe at what is happening right now, Nick.
Yeah, I am too. I was, not going to lie, I was trying to fix our scoreboard to, make it easier for our fans to see. And the next thing you know, I look up and total chaos down here in front of the bleachers. Wow.
Well, if you're Missouri Valley, you're loving this. Obviously, you don't like whatever was said or done by Salvadego, but you're certainly more comfortable now that you're going to play the rest of this match with a man up, even though you're a goal down. You know what, Nick? This is only fitting for a final. Yeah. All the best finals have a bit of chaos. They have goals, they have spice, they have flair. This is just another twist and turn in this tale of a rainy evening here in Fayette, Missouri.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're also talking about the number 1 and the number 4 ranked team in the country. Not just here, not just in the conference, in the country.
Absolutely.
So it does kind of boil over in a conference championship game. So they say defense wins championships. That's going to have to be the case for CMU.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if they, at halftime, of course, we're about 28 minutes remaining on this clock for the first half, so we're very fresh into this game. But I would not be surprised if we see a substitution in a defensive-minded way from Central Methodist for the second half, because they're going to be down a man for the rest of this match.
As I forgot to start the clock again, so I was just fixing that for you.
Camerlengo, we're already seeing a shift in tactics as Camerlengo takes this free kick when during the beginning of this match, Sanchez was taking all of the free kicks. That time he sends it all the way down. It's deflected out of play for a throw-in, which will be taken by Sanchez.
And, of course, for CMU, even though you're down a man right now, it's great to have that goal advantage because for the rest of the match, if you have to play keep away, you have to do it. But one thing about it, Mo Valley has to score, CMU does not.
Exactly. And this is a one-leg match, so regardless as to the score, it is final. There will not be a second match played at Missouri Valley. And as I say that, Mo Valley trying to get a counterattack working quickly with trying to play very direct, sending it all the way down rather than dribbling it through the lines of Central Methodist. Sanchez, the Spaniard, showing his own skill on the ball as he's able to regain possession for the Eagles, and then they win a throw-in thanks to Scheckerman. Bit of controversy early in this match. Coach Nichols still having conversation with the center referee about it. Not even 15 minutes earlier, 5 minutes to 7 minutes earlier than that, there was a foul in the box on Scheckerman, which easily could have been called a penalty as he was dragged down by his collarbones by one of the fullbacks from Missouri Valley. There was a high boot. Referee calling no contact, even though the boot of Steven Milosevic was in the face of the oncoming attacking player from Central Methodist. Referee's reasoning on that was that there wasn't any contact between the two players, or the ball and the incoming player. It's great technique from Milosevic, but definitely questioning timing on it as Central Methodist get a free kick, or a throw-in, on the far side. Coach Nichols still not letting it go, having even more words with this assistant referee on the near sideline about halfway down the pitch. Nick, what's amazing is that even though they're down a man, the tactics from Central Methodist in the past few minutes are still to press. They still have every man pushing up. Both of their center backs are they're all the way up near the half line when the ball is on the attacking half, as they should be. But typically you'd see them leave an extra man back. You'd see them be more conservative, as you see the center official having more words with Coach Nichols, trying to settle him down before play resumes, just trying to get on with the rest of this match in a more level-headed manner. Coach Nichols, of course, just adamant that his players shouldn't have been sent off. It is a jarring thing to experience, especially in a final when all the chips are on the table, everything is on the line. Just adds another twist and another turn to the tale.
Yeah, and of course, defensively, CMU, they average giving up just under a goal a game, so maybe they feel comfortable with just attack, and hopefully their goalie can stop them.
Perhaps. And Camerlingo has been a revelation in goal this year. Of course, being a freshman, coming in, trying to prove his spot and earn that starting spot in this lineup. He has done just that.
Freshman from Pescara, Italy.
Central Methodist trying to get something going in the attack now. This time they leave three back at the center line. Seems as though Missouri Valley uses the tactic of whenever they regain possession in their defensive half, they're going to leave one center forward up near the center line and just try to boot it up towards them. I hope they can hold up play while the rest of the team pushes back down into the attacking half of the pitch. So far it has not worked out due to the defensive structure of Central Methodist. Clearly studying their tapes, analyzing their formation changes, their movement on and off the ball. There's another example of that. Gain possession and immediately try to send it down a direct route. That time they were trying to send it across, swinging the ball down from the far side of the pitch to this near side, and it gets cleared away by Central Methodist. I think Missouri Valley are going to have to probably change up their tactics, even though they are a man up. Central Methodist have not shown any wavering, any form of breaking early in this match. Camerlingo there having a bit of sportsmanship, trying to drag out the clock, waste a little bit of time, knowing his men are down a man in this match, trying to eat as many seconds. You'll likely see that a bit more frequently, especially in between free kicks. Missouri Valley able to bring down that clearance. Bit of fancy skill is read by Sanchez as it will be cleared away. Missouri Valley gaining possession for the first time, or seemingly so, in this attacking third. And a poor pass sends the ball out of play, and it will be a Central Methodist throw-in deep in their defensive third. Lacerda will take this throw-in.
I'll give a quick shout-out to our boss man, Charlie Brown, who's watching the broadcast, making sure we sound good and the picture looks good. So he saw that little altercation that we had earlier. He said it looked like someone, after the goal scorer scored the goal, he came over, tried to celebrate with the fans, and Mo Valley took exception.
That is, I wonder if that red card may have been, because it certainly wouldn't be I don't think at the college level there are any rules against celebrating with fans unless it was a COVID caution, as, of course, COVID-19 still ravages the world. I wonder if the center official, there's a rule that the NAIA has put in place, or that the Heart of America Athletic Conference has put in place, where you're not allowed to interact with the fans. There looks like there may have been a studs left in on that tackle, as Clayton Duarte is writhing in pain behind the play. Assistant referee on the near side is showing no sense of conversation with the players, just sort of waving his hand at Coach Nichols, saying, don't worry about it. There wasn't enough in there. Of course, the players are coming over to show the battle scars as Duarte lifts his jersey, trying to show the placement of the cleat on him, showing physical evidence of a late tackle. Emotions are flaring now, as if they weren't flaring enough after that goal, then after the red card, and now Central Methodist are likely going to be playing a little bit harder. Even though it is a final, they'll use every little last reserve in their bank just to prove that they're ready to keep fighting, keep this lead, if not extend it, going further into this match. Camerlingo again going to take this free kick, where we have seen Sanchez take them before, shift in their tactics following the red card assigned to Salvadego following his game-leading goal. Nice bit of pace down the far side as Central Methodist barrel in towards the box. Now Missouri Valley in possession, looking for that down ball, looking for the long boot. Now switching the field finally out of pressure. There is space for Hashimoto to dribble downfield. He's into the attacking half now, setting it towards this near sideline, looking for the cross, and due to the wetness of the turf, the player loses possession of the ball and falls down late after a tackle from Sanchez, where he leaves his boot in a little bit too much. You probably hear the boos from the home fans as they see there's nothing in that, claiming that the previous tackle in the same spot was more harsh. Missouri Valley, this is exactly what they were looking for, a free kick in their attacking third. This is so close to the net. All they have to do is send an in-swinging cross, find the head of a teammate, and put it into the back of the net, pull themselves level, and take this game into their own hands, as it looks like they may be preparing a substitute on this near sideline. Looks like Ruben Jimenez is looking to check into the game for Southern Missouri as that free kick is taken and cleared away. Sanchez trying to dribble it out of pressure before it's put back into the mixer by Missouri Valley. Sanchez showing why he's wearing that armband, leading his team into the attacking half, leading the runner beautifully there. Ball goes out of bounds. But it looks as though Ruben Jimenez will be checking into this game for Missouri Valley. Jimenez, of course, the junior forward from Barcelona, Spain, looking to show his international class. The throw-in is poked out by Missouri Valley. A lot of physical contact in there, specifically between Duarte and the Missouri Valley players. Better field position for a deep throw now from Sanchez as he looks to get this into the box and off the head of one of their center backs, looking to double their lead. The throw is not quite as deep as it could have been without the wetness of the ball, but now Missouri Valley has space near the midline, looking for a deep throw. Sanchez falls at the midway line, and Missouri Valley's able to take advantage of it. They're into the box, and a shot goes over, and it goes just over the goal, hits the field goal from American football, and bounces onto the top of the net. Referee awarding a corner kick. Camerlingo appealing that he made no contact with the ball. Referee not having any of it. The whole CMU bench erupting, appealing for a goal kick. But their cries fall on deaf ears as this center official is certain that this play is resulting in a corner kick. Missouri Valley with another fantastic opportunity here to try to pull one back. Try to draw themselves level in this match for the first time since the 20th minute mark when Salvadego changed the face of this match seemingly for good, as it's a nice header away, an attempted volley. It would have been worth 3 points in American football, but in this sport, that's nothing.
A great job by CMU to get that ball out of there, too.
Fantastic header away by, I believe, Carlos Scheckerman, able to get his head on it.
Carlos Scheckerman, a sophomore from Barcelona, Spain.
As we mentioned in the pregame, there are a lot of international students on these rosters coming over to the United States looking for an opportunity to play and get an education that may not be the same level that they could elsewhere. The United States, of course, being one of the greatest nations in the world when it comes to providing athletics at the educational level outside of an academy that you would see if you were elsewhere in the world. Substitution now as number 16, Marcus Esco comes into the match for Central Methodist.
He's a freshman from Bielefeld, Germany. So I counted the list. There's only 5 Eagles on this team that are from the United States. And then looking at Missouri Valley's roster, like you said earlier, Tristan, nobody on their team is from the United States. So all of their guys are from other places besides the USA.
Absolutely. And Clayton Duarte is the player who comes off to make room, as he was getting a bit chippy in there. May have Coach Nichols recognizing the heated emotions as they start to rise. Hashimoto trying to dribble through. He makes his way through a couple of players from Central Methodist. Appeals for a late tackle there. Good show of sportsmanship there between the two sides as they try to mend the flared-up emotions. The Central Methodist help him up off the ground. The center official shrugging when Missouri Valley appeals for the throw-in, almost to say, I didn't really see it. I'm going off of my assistant referee on the near side. It did look as though it was a Central Methodist throw-in from my perspective. Sanchez opting to take the safer throw-in to Camerlingo, who then just throws it away down towards the far side, unless, and not quite, goalkeeper Milosevic able to shield the ball with his body, ending up taking a fall, causing the Missouri Valley bench to erupt, claiming there was a foul there. Not quite, just a bit of pressure, as Isaac Johnson was providing that pressure, as he has checked into this match as well for Central Methodist. Nice pressure there. Unfortunate for Central Methodist not to gain possession off of that high press from Scheckerman. Missouri Valley doing well, maintaining possession. Hashimoto with a nice through ball. Maintained well there by Sanchez as he tries to flick it up and off of a Missouri Valley player. Trying to use a bit of the pickup game skill, as you would see in any Sunday league across the world. Flicking it up, trying to do some juggles, or keepy-uppies as they're called. Trying to flick the ball over the attacking player from Missouri Valley. That ball is sent out for a throw-in. Arms to the back there from Sanchez into the back of Jimenez. The substitute from Missouri Valley. Referee calls for a free kick. It's taken quickly. Missouri Valley just trying to stretch the field now, as we've seen the past couple of their attempts. Their wingers and their fullbacks are coming all the way to the near and far touch lines, as they try to spread the defense, trying to open up those in routes for their forwards to get through onto the attacking half. Not quite successful, but they're making progress. They're actually able to string together some passes in the first 15 minutes or so, namely when Central Methodist had all 11 men on the pitch. They weren't able to find those routes, to find those simple 1-2 passes, to get the possession, slow down the pace of the game. Missouri Valley looking to make another substitution here, as it will be Alexander Trujic, who will check in. And it will be Miroslav Markovic, who comes off, begging his coach, saying, "Coach, I had this opportunity. We were in the attacking third. I could have done something." And immediately Trujic gets a touch on the ball and sends it directly to Central Methodist. A late tackle there will result in a booking, it looks, as Central Methodist receive a second card. Not quite. It looked as though the center official was digging into his pocket there. And there comes the yellow card, shown to Carlos Scheckerman. It was either Scheckerman or it was Luengo. Not quite sure. They were both in the same vicinity when the card was shown. Typically a center official will wait for more space. There the official calls for a stoppage of the clock to go have a conversation with players and requesting that time be stopped for some unknown reason. He's looking to add more time onto the clock, as the clock was not stopped immediately following the stoppage of play. And we'll add about 14 seconds back onto the clock to give us 13 minutes even remaining in this first half. Central Methodist Eagles are leading 1-0 over Missouri Valley Vikings. If you're just joining us, we appreciate you tuning into this broadcast of the Heart of America Athletic Conference final matchup for men's soccer.
But I can honestly say you have missed a lot.
Absolutely. You've missed almost a soap opera of emotions from both benches following an early goal from Salvadego, number 11 for Central Methodist, who following his goal, he's tried to celebrate with either the fans or the benches, something that caused the center official and the benches to erupt and had a scuffle, mixing all of those different bubbles. And he was eventually awarded a red card and sent off. Now Central Methodist playing down a man, allowing space as Jimenez tries to flick the ball over for Trujic, is unsuccessful. And the ball is sent out of bounds for a throw-in for Central Methodist.
Of course, you may see at the bottom of your screen right there, between different shots, the assistant athletic director here at Central Methodist University, Rachel Moore, who does a great job getting everything set up. She probably stayed down there. Has to be a little bit of an enforcer tonight, as she had to go and try to break up that fight earlier. But so she probably has to keep a close eye on both teams to make sure there's nothing further.
Absolutely, and it looks like it was number 15, Peter Iakovu of Missouri Valley, who was given the yellow card according to our official stats. The tackle was by a member of Central Methodist. So I would assume that if it was awarded to number 15, it would go to Victor Luengo of Central Methodist. Sanchez with a great field position here for a free kick, trying to find the head of a teammate, setting it towards the far post, finds the head, it bounces once, and it's harmlessly gathered by Milosevic, the goalkeeper for Missouri Valley. It was a great free kick sent in. Looked as though it was going to hang a little higher as it went towards the far post of the Missouri Valley net. It ended up dropping quickly, a little sooner than anticipated, probably by Sanchez even. Was made contact with an attacking head from Central Methodist, but they sent it bouncing off the ground, looking for that bouncing attempt, trying to bounce it over the gloves of Milosevic unsuccessfully, as Ruben Jimenez is able to make nice maintenance of play here. Still Missouri Valley with possession. Center official eventually calling for the ball went out of bounds for a throw-in. which will be taken by Sanchez.
Stopping the clock here.
And it ends up being a free kick.
Nope, we're still rolling.
Ends up being a free kick, which will be taken by Sanchez. So not quite sure if there was something left in on a tackle, and Sanchez opts for the safer, smarter option, and Camerlingo. Great ball in, looking for the run, not quite successful.
And you saw down there Central Methodist Athletic Director Natasha Wilson down there with Assistant Athletic Director Rachel Moore. So they both kind of have to be enforcers tonight to prevent any more scuffles.
Absolutely, and now there will be a substitution as Ricardo Sanduli will come on, and Victor Luengo will make way, likely to prevent any further yellow cards to be shown to him in this match. And that attempt goes straight into the hands of Milosevic on the near post. Missouri Valley with space, dribbling towards midfield. They're shrugged off the ball. Maintain play around the midfield line, still with possession now. They lack the numbers. They're sending it in towards the box, and it's headed out and cleared away by Central Methodist.
Great job by the Eagles there. That was a good chance for the Vikings. Great job by the Eagles to head that one out.
Most definitely, especially down a man. The Vikings can almost take that opportunity and put in even an extra man up to give them two more men in the attacking half. But certainly being a man down requires a lot more running and a lot more grit from the Central Methodist players. A late tackle there as he goes into the heels. Center official says no card, but a late tackle there by Mike Mosier of Missouri Valley as he slides in late on Isaac Johnson, the substitute from Central Methodist. Camerlingo coming up to have a conversation with Sanchez, trying to give an idea of where to send this free kick. Both of them talking into their hands. Sanchez calls him off. Nice free kick sent all the way over to the far sideline. It goes over the heads of everybody, and it looks like it will be shielded out of bounds. And Scheckerman, not Scheckerman. It was Scheckerman. He committed a foul after the play and then continued to play after the whistle. A lot of places that will result in a yellow card, and there it is. Scheckerman goes into the book. That is 3 members of Central Methodist who have been awarded either a yellow or a red card, 2 of which are now on the bench, one of them no longer in the stadium. One of them is on the field in Scheckerman. Milosevic opts to take a quick pass. Missouri Valley trying to gain some traction, get a foothold in this match before the second half takes underway. As nice passing opportunity there. It is flicked up and away. Missouri Valley trying to maintain possession. Hashimoto dropping back to maintain. Jimenez taken off the ball by Sanchez, who's now way out of position, but it doesn't matter as he is still dribbling through the Missouri Valley players. Fantastic through ball, and into the box goes Central Methodist. And a fantastic attempt goes spiraling off the boot of the goalkeeper and out for a corner kick for Central Methodist. Central Methodist with a fantastic opportunity there and a shot from substitute Marcus Esco. He had a fantastic opportunity. It almost looked like the better choice would have been to go with the right foot, send it curling towards the net instead of away from the net, as there weren't any other players making that run to get the tap in on the other side. He was obviously shooting for goal, but Milosevic able to get just enough to send it wide. Sanchez will take the corner kick.
It'll be huge if they can pull it off.
Absolutely. Doubling your lead right before half, especially a man down, would be ideal for Central Methodist. Fantastic gritty play to keep the ball in the box that long. Gets deflected and now cleared out of bounds for a Central Methodist throw-in. Fantastic work there from, I believe, Theo Klein, dropping all the way back into the defensive half to use his brute strength, force the ball out of bounds off of Missouri Valley.
Theo Klein, a freshman from Strasbourg, France.
Hard tackle there. Nice bit of skill shown by Johnson. Ball was put forward, eventually cleared back towards midfield. It looks as though it was Isaac Johnson that made that muscular force of clearance off of Missouri Valley around midfield. It appears as though Theo Klein was the first substitute in this match for Central Methodist. He is no longer out on the pitch. Nice pressure there from Central Methodist as Johnson's on the ball. Looking for the cross, looking for the shot, pings off Missouri Valley and is dribbled out of pressure. There's another example of when wet turf will bite you, as the Missouri Valley forward lost his traction and had to stop and use his hands to stabilize himself, forfeiting possession to Central Methodist. Nice flick on from Jimenez. That time it goes off of the receiving player, Kubanovic. Sanchez will take the throw in on this near sideline. Deep throw from Sanchez, and it's headed away by Hashimoto. High boot there. But no matter, as Trujic is able to maintain possession, sending it all the way wide. DeBoer now pushing down the left side, opting for a pass, and Missouri Valley trying to slow down play a bit. Get their possession stats up. Fantastic ball into the running path of Hashimoto, who fakes out the defender. Opts to maintain possession and take it back towards midfield. Forward ball on. Shot is blocked by Sanchez. Shot was taken by Jimenez. Now looking for the cross, and it is cleared out of bounds as Alexa Kubanovic looked to get that left-footed cross in towards the box. They didn't have numbers, so it was probably for the best for both sides that Sanchez got the clearance off of that, and it will be a throw-in in dangerous territory if Missouri Valley can capitalize. They send in the throw-in, the free kick, that time. It was a throw-in, and then it was crossed in towards the box, but Camerlingo falls on the ball, eating up a bit of time as the clock still runs when the ball is in play. And the center official awards a free kick now, stating that there was a foul just on the inside of the box against a Central Methodist player. So Camerlingo will take this free kick. Sends it down towards center field. Miscommunication there from Central Methodist's midfielders as they forfeit possession to Missouri Valley. That time ball goes out off of Central Methodist. Both the assistant referee was pretty confident in it. Center official less than, as his arm was more or less bent as he glanced over to his assistant to get confirmation. Just under 2 minutes remaining in this first half of this final match in the 2020-21 campaign. Fantastic work from Sanchez as he tries to dribble out of pressure. Gain an advantage, doubling the lead for Central Methodist. Still on the ball is Sanchez. Dribbled all the way halfway across the pitch, down to the far side. Center official awards a free kick for Central Methodist. And they will take their time eating up the clock as we wait for time to run out for the start of the second half. Missouri Valley able to gather possession off of that throw-in. Jimenez looking for the long ball for Hashimoto. He finds him, not quite. It's leading the runner. But with the turf being wet, with the boots being wet, the ball being wet, there was too much pace on that pass. As we talked about this whole match, whole first half, all of the pregame so far, it's been one of the main storylines, of course, the sending off and all of that drama, also causing a twist and turn to the tail. Kobanovic then being cautioned by the center official due to a double-armed extension into the back of Sanduli from Central Methodist. Camerlingo will take this free kick, and that will pretty much do it for this first half. Camerlingo looking to get this ball off and into the box quick and early. And that ball will be off target, go out of bounds, and that should end it for this first half as the home team, Central Methodist University Eagles, lead the visitors, the number 2 seeded Missouri Valley College Vikings, 1-0 at the end of regulation in the first. We'll be right back after this.
How do you become better prepared for today's job market? You choose a better way of learning. At Central Methodist University, we are proud to be one of the first to offer a new comprehensive digital approach to teaching and learning that changes everything. Introducing Digital U. Digital U, available only on the CMU campus in Fayette, transforms the entire learning experience. It's so much more than simply incorporating smart devices into the classroom. Utilizing technology to better engage students, Digital U offers enhanced, never-before-available learning. The technology of Digital U begins with iPads, which are provided at no cost by the university. Over time, fewer textbooks will be needed, which should mean lower cost for most students. At Digital U, students will learn in the same way in which they live, with the access and ease that only this level of technology can provide. And Digital U doesn't just transform the student experience. Faculty can use their devices for everything, allowing for more time and access to teach and guide their students. The Digital U program is made up of many advanced elements, including replacement of some traditional textbooks with ebooks, incorporation of Apple TVs in the classroom, specialized new learning apps, the ability to attend class on their device while traveling for sports, music, and other CMU activities, improved communication and collaboration, greater faculty-student connection, and so much more. Digital U incorporates these dynamic digital experiences into the traditional classroom, and students come energized, engaged, and excited to learn. Digital U is not a replacement for traditional learning. It's an enhancement, providing new and greater ways of learning. At last, a connective traditional education that moves at the speed of the real world. Get more from your college experience with CMU's Digital U. Contact us today. CMU. Be more. How do you make traditional education more effective for today's job market? You transform it at Central Methodist University. Now the only limit to your education is your imagination. The new Digital U, available only on the campus of CMU. Be more.
At last, an approach to teaching and learning that connects the traditional classroom to the real world at Central Methodist University. Now you can learn the way you live and the way you'll work with the new Digital U, available only on the campus of CMU. Be more.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Central Methodist University, where the number 1 seeded Eagles of CMU are taking on the number 2 seeded Vikings of Missouri Valley College. The Eagles are leading at the end of the first 45-1-0, even though they are down a man for the duration of this match, following the goal and celebration of Alessandro Salvadego, who scored in just the 16th minute of play. And then during his celebration of said goal, something was said, done, not entirely sure. It looked as though he came over to celebrate with the fans or said something to the Missouri Valley bench. Either way, both sides erupted off of their benches. Players from the pitch came over. It was a full bench clearing. There wasn't a brawl. There were just words said, a few shoves. Nothing physical, of course. But the center official had to come over, ushered a red card to Salvadego. And Central Methodist have been playing down a man ever since the 16th minute. Hasn't fazed them, though, as they've maintained their game plan. Sanchez just shifting the focus of the team as he is the captain, trying to refocus them. There have been a couple of substitutions to pull a couple of hot-headed players, such as Clayton Duarte, coming off of the pitch for Central Methodist, as he was getting a little chippy and leaving his foot in a little late on a couple of tackles. Coach Nichols, of course, noticing that and pulling him from the match quickly. But it looks as though the weather is clearing up a bit. Hopefully for the second half, obviously we're not getting any sunshine as it is later in the evening now here in the middle of America, but hopefully the rain is over. The turf will start to dry out a little bit. We might see a bit more soccer being played instead of just chippy kickball, if you will. A bit more artful from the players down there. You've seen Missouri Valley trying to string together passes, try to spread the lines of Central Methodist north and south, near and far on your screens, trying to stretch that defense, spread out the players from Central Methodist to allow those holes for their attackers from Missouri Valley to weave in through the center defense. Clearly hasn't panned out for them early in this match. They will look to continue that method or mix it up, according to Coach Simic. Now, on the home team, the Central Methodist Eagles, they lead this match. They are in control. Even though they are a man down, you wouldn't know it if you tuned in following the goal. They have been leading the match in possession. They've been controlling the pace of play. They've been speeding it up every chance they get, getting chippy, getting physical. They've had numerous opportunities on the attacking half. They've had 7 shots, 5 of which on goal, compared to the 3 shots and 1 on target from the visitors. This is, of course, a final match in the Heart of America Athletic Conference, so the champion in this match will be crowned the champion of that conference. Now, these two teams are not only 1 and 2 in this conference, they are 1 and 4 in the nation in the NAIA, as Central Methodist is the 1 seed and the 4 seed is Missouri Valley. Looking at the attacking players from Missouri Valley, we haven't seen a lot out of them. Kanan Dos Santos, the sophomore center midfielder, hasn't been what he has shown he can be. He's scored 6 goals in the last 3 matches. He's been hardly even noticed on the pitch. I haven't said his name once in this broadcast so far, as Missouri Valley have just been struggling to get possession, struggling to connect those passes in the attacking third. They're doing well in their defensive half, just ushering the ball out, clearing it out, getting rid of pressure. But now it's time for them to focus more on the next phase of this match. The next phase being maintaining possession, stringing together not only the defensive passes, but shifting that teamwork, shifting that mindset into the attacking half, staying calm under pressure. A lot of times we've seen DeBoer on the far sideline, their left winger, getting a little bit panicked, taking an early pass when he could maybe try to push a little bit further into the attacking half. Maybe we'll see a bit of a mindset shift from Missouri Valley following halftime as we are getting ready to come back here soon. It will be interesting to see maybe a shift in tactics from Central Methodist. Typically when a team goes down a man, they will add an added defensive player. Early on in this match, after that red card was shown, Theo Klein, the freshman, was pulled off of the pitch from Central Methodist. He's been their leading goal scorer. He has 13 on the season. He was pulled from the match following just a substitution after that red card to try and bolster their defense, maybe put an extra midfielder instead of 3 forwards, run a 4-4-2. Well, of course, it would be a 4-3-2 due to the lack of an extra man. So it'll be interesting to see a shift in tactics from both teams, as maybe Missouri Valley adds an added attacker, maybe making it a 4-2-4. 2 center forwards and 2 winging forwards, just trying to put as much pressure into the attack as they can. as they try to break down this defense. Looks as though Central Methodist will make a substitution in goal, as we're seeing Camerlingo, the starting goalkeeper, warming up, one of the other keepers from this home team. Camerlingo, of course, having a stellar first half, not allowing anything to get past him. He has just one save. That's all he's been needed to make. Salvadego, of course, being the scoring leader and the shot leader for Central Methodist, being pulled early in this matchup. Hopefully, when we get ready to kick off the second half, this weather will have calmed down as the rain has ceased, the misting has ceased. It's just getting colder and colder as the night grows older. Nick, what are your thoughts on the first half?
Well, it was pretty crazy. We the assistant athletic director, Rachel Moore, was just in here. She said it was probably a pretty eventful first half for you. It definitely was.
Absolutely.
We saw CMU score a goal, and then the big scuffle on the sideline. Then all of a sudden, CMU has to play the entire match down one man. But so far, it hasn't been a huge issue for them because it's still 1-0.
Yes, it is still 1-0. It hasn't been a huge issue, as they have still been able to maintain the bulk of possession. Now, a player that I didn't highlight very much in the pregame that I would like to highlight now is the goalkeeper from Missouri Valley, sophomore goalkeeper Dusan Milosevic from Serbia. He leads the Vikings with 36 saves in his 17 matches. He's managed 5 clean sheets, clearly won't do so again tonight. But during his 2020-2021 season, the last time he kept a clean sheet was on October 31st. So clearly that will not carry over into this match. But he has put up 6 saves in the semifinals against Mid-America Nazarene University, where they were able to pull out a 1-0 victory over Mid-America Nazarene. Now, in this match alone, he already has 4 saves. Of course, one of them making its way past. He could have had 5, but the ball was shot with such pace from Salvadego that it just slipped right inside that near post on the near side of your screen, slinging into that near pocket in the net.
Just taking a look at the shots here, too. I was wondering that. It looks like Eagles are still out shooting Moval despite being up 1.
Absolutely, and of course, both teams, it shows on our stats that both teams have a yellow card. I believe Central Methodist has 2, and Missouri Valley actually doesn't have any, as it looked as though the yellow card was shown to number 15 from Central Methodist. Maybe my eyes are wrong. Who knows? But we will look to get this second half underway for you. We appreciate you tuning in. If you're just now tuning in, or if you've been with us from the beginning, I'm Tristan Jordan. I'm joined today by my associate, Nick Thomas, as we look to finish off this final matchup in the Heart of America Athletic Conference. Now, of course, one of these teams could be headed to the NAIA tournament next weekend, so be sure to tune in to the selection show on Monday, April 19th at noon at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time to see if the Eagles or the Vikings will make the cut and see where their seeding is in that tournament.
Absolutely. I guess I should call them Missouri Valley instead of Moval, because growing up I lived pretty close to Fayette, only an hour away. My brother actually went to school here, played basketball, so I'm so used to calling them Moval. So I guess since I got a headset on, I better say Missouri Valley.
It's all good, Nick. We all know what you're talking about.
I know the fans definitely do.
Central Methodist has played 6 games this spring, boasting a 5-1 record. Of course, their only loss falling to the hands of the University of Central Arkansas, who is a Division I institution.
Yeah, Charlie Brown and I were talking about that today when I was picking up the equipment for the show, when he said, you guys ought to have some fun with this one, which we are.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're dealing with number 4 team in the country and the number 1 team in the country. And like we said, their only loss was to Central Arkansas, which is a Division I school.
Yep. And the only team that has been able to put up more than one goal against tonight's hosts, the Central Methodist Eagles, has been Oklahoma Wesleyan, as they did so earlier in this spring. Now, of course, here tonight, maybe Missouri Valley can find that spark that's needed in this wet weather. It may be hard, but they're trying to spark up a fire, light something in their attack and in their defense. It just seems as though their team has been uninspired from the start. Maybe their trip out here was too long. Maybe it was too short. They didn't have the right playlist. Something has seemed off from the get-go, from the first kickoff from this Missouri Valley team, whereas Central Methodist have been on a high press since the first whistle. They've been pressing. They've been absolutely outworking. It just seems as though they want this more than Missouri Valley does. As we get set for this second half, the home team coming back out just a few seconds before we get back underway here.
And Tristan, I think you're absolutely right. I think this game is probably almost right there for the taking from Missouri Valley. If you're going to knock off the number one team in the country, win this conference tournament, now that you're up a man for the rest of the match, this is the time to do it. And if they don't prevail, this might leave a bad taste in their mouth, knowing that they were up a man for the majority of the match and still couldn't get it done. But we still have 45 minutes to play.
Absolutely, we totally do. And matches are never lost. Matches are never lost when you're off the bench. When you're off the field, they're always lost on the field. They're always won on the field. So if you can change that mindset in the locker room at halftime, come out guns a-blazing, minds roaring, mouths roaring, you can easily take this game back, especially a man up if you're Missouri Valley. Now, if you're Central Methodist, you've got to keep that fire that you've had lit under you the entire first half. You've got to carry that over. You have to add driftwood to that fire if you want to maintain this lead, as you know that whatever Coach Simic said to his players in the Vikings locker room, it will light something in them. This is a final. You must put everything on the line. Not only is your name on the line, not only is a title on the line, but your school's reputation is on the line. If you make it to a final, you better play hard. You better play worthy of a title if you are to win.
And I think the Eagles are going to have to play probably the hardest half that they've played all year, especially against Moval being down a man. Even though I've said it a million times already this broadcast, this is probably going to be the hardest half they're going to have to play.
It most definitely will. Looks as though Camerlingo is having a conversation with the center official before coming off, and it will be a substitution in goal for Central Methodist. It looked as though there were a handful of substitutions for the visitors, Missouri Valley, as well. So we saw a few players taking sweats off before they went out. We will get who the new goalkeeper is in a moment. I believe it is Harry Porritt, the senior. We will get you the exact details on that momentarily. Central Methodist opting to boot the ball into the hands of Milosevic, the goalkeeper for Missouri Valley, early on. Coach Nichols telling his players to drop back, allow them space, which is an interesting tactic from a team that's a man down, maybe resorting to more of a bunker formation, as we see Victor Luengo for Central Methodist playing more of a center forward role early in this resumption of play. Klein has returned to the field, and a nice step over there ushers the ball out of play by Ricardo Sanduli.
And you might see a little bit of a glare on your screen. We apologize for that, but we're just trying to protect our equipment as we dealing with a little bit of rain.
Sanduli's first throw in is headed away by DeBoer. And that time again by DeBoer. Slowly gaining ground down the pitch goes Central Methodist. Nice through ball to find Klein. He gets an awkward touch on it, looking for the cross, back heels it, finding Duante. Nice pullback there, able to pull possession in towards the corner, wasting a bit of time, trying to get that cross in. Ball did not cross. Assistant referee says otherwise. It's hard to see from up here as the soccer lines on this pitch are in black. So once it gets darker out there, it does kind of blend in with the dark green turf color. We're doing our best. To me, it looked like it was still in. Clearly, it may have been a shadow of something up above us. Throw-in will be taken by Sanchez, the captain. Opts for the short throw. Now a shot could be taken from the outside of the box. It does get taken, and it pounces off of DeBoer and is eventually cleared away by Missouri Valley. Shot was taken by Alessandro Lacerdi. DeBoer on the ball. There's another example of their winging players for Missouri Valley coming all the way towards the touchline on the near and farthest sides of the pitch. Look at this. DeBoer has so much space down here. He's able to send a cross in towards the box. It gets a head on it from Central Methodist's defense. They're able to send it up and over. Now trying to clear the ball out. It almost looks as though they're using Missouri Valley's tactics of just get possession and clear that Missouri Valley used. And this time it will bite them as that clearance attempt, trying to maintain possession. It goes out for a corner kick to give Missouri Valley the first true opportunity in this match.
Huge if they can get it.
Corner kick will be taken from the far side of your screen as it's sent low and hard in towards the box. It's gathered, shot taken, and it's blocked on his knees and then cleared away.
That may have been the best chance the Vikings have had all game, but good job by the Eagles to get that ball out of there. 2 saves on that.
Most definitely. It looked like it was Sanchez on the dropping to his knees block and then clearance with his foot, and there is a Missouri Valley player down after this play. That clearance will result in a throw-in for Missouri Valley. The player down on the field is number 2, Gianmarco Donini for Missouri Valley. We certainly hope he's okay.
Clock stopped at 41:26. I'll fix that real quick. There we go.
Donini from Florence, Italy, the senior defender, was able to get all the way up into the attacking half and make that shot happen before going down after the play. He's back up, walking it off. So this throw-in looks like it will be a deep one into the box. Wetness of the ball slows it down a little bit off of the hands. The release. Central Methodist trying to dribble it out of possession, dribble it out of pressure, doing so somewhat successfully. Now Missouri Valley gains possession. This is when Missouri Valley needs to execute. As I was talking about during the halftime and after the resumption of play, they have to find that final touch. They have to get that execution, and that is a perfect example of what not to do from DeBoer. Down the near side goes Klein. He has the ball, looking for a cross or a shot. Cuts it back towards his left, looking for the shot, curling towards the far post, and Central Methodist now lead 2-0 with a beautiful shot from Klein.
What a shot right there, Tristan Jordan.
And Theo Klein takes this team on his back and hoists them up another goal. Theo Klein with a wonder goal, cutting it back on his left foot, seeing the movement of the defender, cutting it back and curling it with his left foot around not only the goalkeeper but also defenders, finding that side netting on the far side of the post. Beautiful strike. Absolute world-class strike from Theo Klein.
Not a good move, a great move.
Phenomenal. That was a world-class strike from Theo Klein. Just a freshman out of Strasbourg, France. At 5'10", 161, that midfielder has certainly transitioned into a forward here at Central Methodist. That marks his third goal in this postseason, fourth goal if you include the quarterfinals. Absolutely remarkable from Theo Klein to help a team that may have been downtrodden after going down a man early in the first find that spark and maybe even extinguish any life that could have been rumbling for Missouri Valley. Wow, I am in awe at that strike.
And that could end up being the difference maker for the Eagles.
Absolutely. It gives them a little bit of wiggle room now. Of course, if you're the Eagles, you're still going to hold down tight. You may shift to more of a bunker composition, as I mentioned early at the beginning of this half. They may shift and try to put more defenders on the field, but now you see Theo Klein pushing even further into the attack. As Central Methodist are able to maintain possession, that forward pass looks like it may go out of bounds. It stays in play. Klein waiting at the top of the box, calling for an appeal. Referee not awarding anything. That was a late tackle. Center official calling for a stoppage of play. Theo Klein. Wow. He had a goal in the quarterfinal. He had 2 goals in the semifinal, and now a goal here in the final. What a class player in just his freshman year here at Central Methodist University. Wonderful things to come from that young man, most definitely. Luego is back up after being down after following that play. He's back up and jogging back to the center forward position. Central Methodist clearly showing that they are not ready to go down in this match. Looks as though their formation has shifted to a 4-1-4 or a 4-3-2, depending on how you look at their wingers.
Man down.
Man down after the play, and it looks like the referee has a card out, ready to showcase it. A late tackle there. The card has been shown to number 5, Tom Irian, for Central Methodist, as Miroslav Markovic was down following the play, finally back up to his feet, and a substitution will be made for Central Methodist as Jonathan Gibula comes on. And off comes Ricardo Sanduli, the substitute who came on late in the first half, exits early in the second. Just under 40 minutes remaining, about 39 to be more specific. Free kick in decent field position here for the Vikings. Looking for a chipping attempt, finding a head, but of Sanchez, who's able to put it out away from the box. Missouri Valley trying to appeal, and Central Methodist ends up getting the call, and it will be a goal kick following an appeal from the fullbacks that the ball had crossed the touchline. It was a clever idea from Missouri Valley to have 2 free kick takers in place and then opt for the near attempt as the bulk of bodies was down by the far side. They've had a better opportunity, but a bit of a trick play. Center official awards a throw-in for Central Methodist around the midway line. And Sanchez will take this. Looking for another long throw from the captain. Hashimoto trying to usher it out of play, and it will go all the way through. Corner flag is down following the play. A stoppage of the clock will be called to replace said corner flag. That end of that play will result in a goal kick. What a remarkable game this has been. Starting out with early drama in the first half with a goal and then a red card, Nick. And now early in the second half, showing to be more of the same variety as Central Methodist come out quickly and score off a wonder strike from Theo Klein.
Hey, Tristan, you were right at halftime. It looks like the Eagles just want this thing more, and right now it's showing.
There's just no grit. There's no urgency from Missouri Valley. When they're on the ball, when they're passing, they're all standing still. No one is making a run off the ball. Everybody's just staying stagnant, and that makes it so much easier for Central Methodist, especially with 10 men, to defend. When you're up a man on the pitch, you want to be sprinting. You want to be using your energy. You want to force a substitute to have to come off to drag you off the pitch. when you get subbed off. You do not want to be standing still, standing stagnant, not moving. That prevents any creativity from sparking within your midfield, within your defenses, especially if you're trying to play out of the back the way that Missouri Valley are trying to do here today. Jimenez has to drop all the way into the midfield to get a touch on the ball, trying to spark something. Trujic able to chest it down, and just like that, Missouri Valley weren't moving when off the ball, so they weren't prepared to receive that pass. Their center official calls all ball. The play is continuing. That time, Theo Klein goes down. Central Methodist's bench is appealing for a foul on Luego as he was taken off his feet. Theo Klein maintained possession as the referee claimed all ball, kept moving. He's still saying all ball, despite the appeals from the Central Methodist bench. Theo Klein tried to progress play and drew a foul about 10 meters away. Klein taken down off the play. Central Methodist players appealing for a free kick, a foul inside the box. Well, just outside it would have been. Clearly the center official saw something else, and it will result in a corner kick, so about the same advantage had there been a free kick called. Well, it will be Duarte to take this. He sends in a far ball towards the far post. It gets a head on it. Goes into the hands of Milosevic. Following the connection. Now Missouri Valley looked for an opportunity. They had a breakaway. It was a 2v3 situation, and numbers not in their favor. Central Methodist was able to make the most of it. Now Theo Klein into the attack. If he can keep this in bounds, he does. Trying to hold up play, allowing for some other attackers to get in towards the box. Hands it off to Duarte, who now tries to weave his way through the defense. The two are just playing tiki-taki ball. Klein is able to nutmeg the defender, and he is not having any of it as Klein is shoved to the ground following the play. Central Methodist bench and fans are loving that nutmeg from Klein. Duarte will take this free kick, essentially in a corner kick position. There are 5 Eagles in and around the box, trying to get their head onto this to extend their lead to 3. This time the ball is sent low and hard. It's headed out of the box. Sanchez trying to hold up play. Nice sliding maintenance. Great pass. Klein sends it behind Duarte, but he's able to swerve around to maintain possession despite the slick conditions of the pitch. Klein sending it across. It finds the foot of Gibula, excuse me. Milosevic is able to collect as that shot took a deflection. Missouri Valley are able to take a deep breath. A lot of continued pressure from Central Methodist has resulted in very little breathing room. But when Missouri Valley has had the ball, they make mistakes like that. And now Central Methodist are on the breakaway again. Just one to beat. He passes it past. Milosevic comes out of his box. Gets onto the ball again. Central Methodist go down. Ball is called by the center official. All ball, he says. A lot of complaints from both sides. Both benches are screaming at the center official anytime there's even the slightest amount of contact made. Fantastic breakaway there from Alessandro Lacerti, who looks like he could have had an in on goal. That cross from Trujic goes straight into the hands of Porritt, the substitute goalkeeper for Central Methodist. He will hold on to it, trying to eat up a little bit of the clock. But Missouri Valley, when they're on the ball in times like this, none of their players are moving. they're all standing stagnant, except for the one that the ball is headed towards, and then they move. If you're on this pitch, if you've made it to a final, if you're ranked number 4 in the nation, you do not look like this. You've got to be on your toes. You can't be sitting on your heels waiting for the ball to come to you. You've got to be on your toes. You've got to be shifting from side to side, ready to pounce on the nearest ball, winning those 50-50s. Even though they're a man down, Central Methodist has mastered getting on top of the 50-50 ball. Every time there's a ball loose in either half, they're pressing it. They're going to attack it to get possession. Central Methodist now making a substitution as Victor Luengo comes off and Ricky Soto Suboda comes on. Free kick awarded to Central Methodist. Another substitution is ready to come on. Looks like it will be Isaac Johnson returning to the fray after coming off in the first half. Coming on in the first half and then coming off again at halftime. Sanchez comes all the way over to take this free kick on the attacking half, looking to find the head of a teammate in just outside the box or just on the inside of the box. That pass has way too much on it given the conditions. As he raises his hand to apologize to Duarte, and Duarte returns the favor. Trujic dropping all the way back to take this free kick. Referee calls for a stoppage of the clock as we have just 30 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in this match.
I want to give a shout out to our camera operators tonight, Patrick and Natalie, doing a great job for us. Students here at Central Methodist University.
Now, sorry, go ahead, Nick.
I was just going to say glad to have them here with us, but go ahead, Tristan.
I was just going to point out that there was the first spark of life. If we had the ability to rewind and show you again, granted soccer keeps moving, so we're not going to, but if we could, I'd go back and I'd circle for you the movement and the runs of Missouri Valley. As their defenders had the ball, they were pushing towards midfield. 2 of the attackers started making runs. They started overlapping their movement. It's the first sign of life I've seen from Missouri Valley since the first goal in this match. It's the first sign of any sort of hope in their eyes, in their body language, as they commit a foul in the midfield. Zachariah goes down. Johnson still waiting to come on. Center official hasn't awarded a substitution yet. Hasn't gestured for the sub. Sanchez in the same position to take another free kick, this time with 6 teammates in and around the box. Sending it deep towards the far post of the net, and it's headed away just out of the box. It's gathered by Klein, who takes it in towards the corner flag and is able to earn a corner kick. Fantastic work from the freshman to weave his way through 2 and pull the corner. Looks as though it will be Theo Klein coming off for Isaac Johnson. Fantastic shift from Klein, as he has certainly earned his spot on this field tonight. Great runs on and off the ball. Great job getting into space, drawing fouls, and even further, knocking a second goal for Central Methodist. That free kick, that corner kick is taken. It's gathered by Duarte around midfield. He's able to weave past 2 defenders, now 3. Takes it in towards the corner flag, wasting a bit of time in the process. He flicks it in between them, trying to maintain possession, but good use of the body from DeBoer to muscle him around. Missouri Valley again using their very direct approach, this time getting it over the defenders, getting in on it, able to maintain possession this time, and it gets flicked out and around. Corner kick is assigned. Great work there to even gather possession by Kanan Dos Santos, who I spoke about in the halftime show, needing to show more. He's been a leader on this team all season long, especially in the last 3 games. And a shot there, it's deflected out by the defenders, but Kanan Dos Santos needs to do more for this Missouri Valley team to have any shot at coming back in this match. Another substitution is ready to come on. as it will be Felipe Pinto Rojas coming on. And Clayton Duarte will make way. Good shift from Duarte as well. Now Missouri Valley trying to get something going, and that pass just had no one on the end of it. You can see the frustration there from Markovic. They're just not on the same page. I don't know if something was said in the locker room or the playlist wasn't right. Whatever it is, Missouri Valley are not looking like the Missouri Valley that they have proven to be. They certainly don't look like a 4 seed in the nation, as DeBoer has a terrible miscue, allowing Johnson space to make his way down the far side, this near side, winning a throw-in. Due to the conditions of the pitch, DeBoer misjudged the bounce of the ball, and it flicks off of his heels, goes on for a Central Methodist attacking option, as there is a substitution for Central Methodist. I will let you know who that was following this play. Johnson to take this, a deep throw deep into the box and into the hands directly of Milosevic, who boots it quickly, trying to find a teammate unsuccessfully, as Central Methodist is able to clear it back away. Hunter Gilliam comes on, and Alessandro Lacerti comes off for Central Methodist. That was the substitution that happened while we waited for that throw-in. Looks as though another substitution is about to take place from Central Methodist. While the rain has stopped at halftime, the weather has continued to drop. We are in much colder territory now. Missouri Valley trying to spark some passes now. A bit more movement. Still not going to meet the ball, even though it is wet, even though the ball is going to travel faster on this surface. You still have to meet the ball halfway. You can't just stand there and expect the ball to come to you, especially when playing Central Methodist. They've shown all match long that they will win those 50-50s, and that right there was a perfect example of it. The high press, as he came up to pressure that pass, Missouri Valley wasn't going to meet that ball. Central Methodist were able to get a touch on that and clear it out of bounds. That's a fantastic opportunity, but a poor gather. DeBoer just watches the ball bounce past and out of play. Trujic now with the ball in this near corner, able to weave his way past 1, then 2, then 3. Shot is taken by Jimenez, and it's deflected out. And a clearance finally from Central Methodist, relieving a bit of this pressure. Missouri Valley's finally showing life. Finally trying to get that finishing touches in the final third with just under 24 minutes remaining in this match. Trujic holding up play and sending it immediately back towards the defense. That is a testament to the great amount of pressure coming from the Central Methodist back line. As soon as one of the attackers from Missouri Valley gets on the ball, the pressure is immediately put onto their backs, and a foul is given. In great field position as a free kick is awarded to Missouri Valley following a late slipping tackle from the Central Methodist defense. I believe it was Sanchez who committed the foul. Missouri Valley with numbers, about 8 players in and around the box, trying to get their head on something. They need it to stay alive in this match. A fantastic poking clearance with his fist from Porritt. It's gathered by DeBoer, looking for a shot opportunity, looking for the head instead, and it's headed away this time by Yabula. Corner kick awarded for Missouri Valley on this near side corner flag this time. Central Methodist still waiting for their throw in. This time the corner is taken low and hard. It's sent back out towards the corner taker. Pings around off of Porritt, says the center official, and it's another corner kick awarded. Tom Preston, an Englishman, is taking these corner kicks for Missouri Valley. This time it goes all the way back to the back post. It finds the head, and a horrible miscue sends it all the way across the face of goal and out of bounds for a goal kick. Those opportunities squandered by Missouri Valley as they needed to make something happen off of those. At least one of those had to find the back of the net if they were to have any hope in this match as daylight dwindles for them. Luengo makes way as Zachariah makes way as Luengo comes back onto the pitch. Porritt to take this goal kick. This match could have had a completely different complexion from the beginning, but it looks as though Central Methodist has just had more passion. They've had more grit. They've had more drive, more want. That is the ultimate word in this match, is want.
And they're just proving why they're the number one team in the country right now. It's just same thing they've done all year.
Absolutely. They've just shown that they want it more. And sometimes, especially between two great teams, if one of them shows up and the other one doesn't, that's all that matters. Now, Missouri Valley trying to get something going, and again, the wet turf coming into play. That pass on a grass field or on a dry turf pitch would have been a fantastic leading pass. But it just had too much on it with the weather conditions here in Fayette, Missouri. Referee blows for a free kick, saying that there was a shove to the back of a player. Markovic is clearly not happy. As the Serbian shares words with the referee from a distance. Sanchez comes all the way over to the near touchline to take this free kick. It'll be difficult for him to get it in towards the box, but he certainly tries. He's able to find just the corner of the box. It's headed out and away from Missouri Valley. That'll be a throw-in granted to Central Methodist in their attacking third. Isaac Johnson will take this. He's shown earlier in this match that he can send them deep into the box. Can he do so again? Can the Eagles extend their lead to 3 with under 20 remaining? Deep throw from Johnson in towards the box. It finds the head of Missouri Valley. It's collected. Fantastic bit of skill. Nutmegs 1, then 2. Eventually is muscled off the ball. Central Methodist winning every single one of those 50-50 balls. Great effort shown by Felipe Pinto Rojas as he nutmegged 2 defenders from Missouri Valley and then sprinted all the way back to help on defense and regain possession, showing the want in those 50-50s. Throw in awarded to Central Methodist, just on the inside of their attacking third. You may be able to hear some of the chants of the home fans as they try to urge their team on in the final 20 minutes to keep the momentum going that they've had this whole match. 70 minutes in, don't let up now. Keep your foot on that gas. Missouri Valley almost looking as though they're content with this result. Content with losing in a final, which cannot possibly be the case. As Central Methodist makes another substitution. Marcus Esco comes on. As Mark Songrady comes out. That ball is awarded as a free kick, following a bit of foul play in the box. Missouri Valley takes it quickly. If you were to tune into this match right now and you haven't been watching this whole broadcast, if I were to do so, I would assume that Missouri Valley is winning this match by a comfortable 2-0 margin based on the pressure that Central Methodist are showing, as Sanchez there is able to win back possession away from the defenders of Missouri Valley. Missouri Valley, when they have possession, they're just standing. They're slowly walking. They're sauntering around on this pitch, looking as though they're just trying to waste time. They need to show life. That pass there needs to be more on that pass. If you're trying to lead the runner, you have to put a little bit more. Yes, the turf is wet. Yes, nearly every pitch that you've tried to lead a runner on has been at a diagonal with this wet turf, so it's gone out of bounds. But that pass was straight down the line. You've got to put more on those if you want to get anything going. Free kick awarded for Missouri Valley. They have to convert this if they want to have any chance of coming back in this match. Just about 16 and a half minutes remaining. They have to convert. And if you're Central Methodist, you cannot let up now. You have to keep this high press going. Coach Nichols of Central Methodist has done a great job of using his substitutes this evening, putting on fresh legs, pulling off weak legs. And that ball goes just wide of the far post as another substitution is called for Central Methodist. Zachariah will return. And it looks like it will be number 26, Ricky Soto Suboda, who will make way. Came on as some fresh legs.
Zechariah, a 6'3 freshman from Berlin, Germany.
He is absolutely towering over the rest of the midfield for both teams. Immediately makes an impact as he's able to usher that ball out for a throw-in for Central Methodist around the midway line. That ball's able to go on, and Johnson's able to keep it in play. The entirety of the Central Methodist bench appealed for their own throw-in. Rojas able to get onto the ball, trying to send it on. Has a late tackle. Referee spotting the foul, allowing for advantage. Fantastic through ball to Farin Markovic. He holds up play, looking for a shot with his left. Opts for the far pass. That time putting it onto his right, and the shot gets deflected as Mosier tried to become the hero. I almost think that Markovic had a better look at goal. At least from this vantage point he did. He had only one defender instead of two on him. It's a fantastic through ball to send Markovic in on net. Central Methodist needing to keep their lines clean, needing to keep their lines clear. As center official whistles for a stoppage of the clock at 14:07. A yellow card has been shown for that earlier tackle down in the attacking third for Central Methodist. It's been awarded to, or rather shown to, Felipe Pinto Rojas, as he was trying to pressure and ended up getting a late tackle, sweeping the legs of the defender. He will be subbed off, and on will come Mark Sungrati.
Oh, yeah, of course.
A great shift from Pinto Rojas as he was heavily pressing each and every ball. As he comes off towards the sideline, every member of the bench applauds him, high-fives him, reassures him that he had a great shift. Not to let that card go to his head. Not to get him down. Jimenez trying to dribble his own way through the Central Methodist defense, and it is unsuccessful. And now Zachariah with 3 to beat as he tries to go at the Missouri Valley side on his own. Isaac Johnson comes in to provide support, loses out. Missouri Valley regained possession. Great ongoing ball. And that goes out of bounds for a Central Methodist throw-in.
Of course, we will have a trophy presentation to whoever wins it after this game, so we will have that for you too.
Jimenez on the ball with space. And that pass is poor behind his teammate on the far wing. That is a foul as Sanchez is taken to the ground without any contact on the ball. Looked as though that was Luke Sowerby who was late in on that tackle for Missouri Valley. He was able to clear the ball away beforehand, which is why the referee provided no card. Sanchez was unable to get to the ball, which is why there were appeals from the Central Methodist bench. Foul is called clearly to the distaste of the Missouri Valley defender, Gianmarco Donini, as he throws the ball into the ground. Center ref calling him over to have a conversation, now calling for a stoppage of play so he could have an adamant talk with the player.
.12:04 till we crown a champion of this Hart Soccer Championship tournament.
And if this result holds, then the home team, Central Methodist University, will be the champions, as they have shown they deserve. At this point in the game, I would almost feel as though it would be unjust due to the performance of Missouri Valley if they were to come back and win this. But it's all on Central Methodist's shoulders to stand strong, stay in position, keep their press, keep their minds in the game. Don't get arrogant, don't get conceited, because as soon as you do, that's as soon as you lose this match.
Absolutely.
They've shown no signs of any of that. Missouri Southern taking this free kick quickly, setting it on, and it goes off the head of Trujic. And it bounces into the feet of Porritt. He eventually picks it up and now will waste as much time as he can. He sends it down towards Isaac Johnson. It goes off the head of Donini. Will be a throw-in for Central Methodist. See Gilliam wiping the ball of the condensation on it. Using his shirt, trying to provide a little bit more grip on the ball for himself before he takes the throw. And that late touch sends it out of bounds. It will be out of bounds for a throw-in for Missouri Valley. Center official calling over the substitution, and it will be Trujic making way. And Kanan Dos Santos coming back on. Dos Santos, of course, having 6 goals in the last 3 matches and having little to no effect on this match. One man does not a team make, but it certainly helps when you have someone on the pitch who shows some sort of urgency. He's proven to be a match winner in the past. Can he do so again here? Can he be the spark that Missouri Valley have been looking for this whole match? Can they find it in the final 10 minutes?
They're going to have to.
Now you're starting to see Missouri Valley players running off the ball. Now you're starting to see them make the runs, and that cross goes straight in front of the frame of goal. Porritt let it go all the way through. Every player in the box watching it as it bounced in front of the net. There were 2 players from Missouri Valley who easily could have just extended a foot to pull themselves into this game. Substitution now will be made by Central Methodist as Ricky Soto Sabota comes back on.
Sabota also out of Barcelona, Spain, to go along with Carlos Scheckerman for the Eagles.
Now we'll see Zachariah exiting in his place.
Good shift for him.
Most definitely a couple of good shifts. In fact, he was subbed off a couple of times, making sure that the midfield has fresh legs as Coach Nichols just tries to usher this game to a close, making sure he has the freshest legs out there to continue this high press. In the world of football, sometimes this press is referred to as the Bielsa press, as it was coined by Marcelo Bielsa, the famed Argentinian coach, player turned coach, currently with Leeds United in the English First Division, the English Premier League. His tactics rely on the zoning of the field and each player pressing heavily onto any player that enters that zone with possession of the ball. It's almost a mutation of a man-marking system that you may see in basketball.
That's a great picture to paint right there. Great way to look at it.
There are 2 players down, one from each team, following a double sliding tackle that saw both players make a nasty collision. Referee claimed all ball as number 4, Milosevic, was able to get ball first for Missouri Valley. He was able to clear it out and away. The Central Methodist player is still down following the tackle.
Looks like it's Victor Luengo as the trainer heads out.
Stretching out his legs as trainer goes out to check on him. It may also just be a bit of gamesmanship, trying to waste a bit of time. But at this level, they stop the clock when it comes to injuries, when it comes to stoppage of play like this. So it's not like there's any benefit to that, unless he's simply trying to fatigue the minds of his opponents.
And, of course, even though you're constantly running, it is kind of easy to pull a muscle in this colder weather because, we've had some pretty fairly warm weather recently. So when you're running when it's chilly outside after you've been running a whole first half when it was warmer, sometimes it plays into your favor, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes muscles get tighter.
Absolutely. And the way I like to think about muscles and weather is you think of it like a rubber band.
Right.
When a rubber band gets cold, it'll snap. When a muscle gets cold, when it's not used frequently, it will be sore. That's your muscle reaching the end of its strain, of its expansion, of its movement. It's telling the person whose muscle it is, you got to stop it. You got to calm down. Ease me in, ease me out. Don't just go 0 to 60. And at times, with this kind of a formation, this heavy press, a player can go from standing around on the sideline with all these substitutions. Luengo specifically has been in and out numerous times. He will be subbed out this time, but going from sprinting around to standing still, it can cause that muscle to get confused and slow down and allow more time for that muscle to have an injury occur, a pull, a tear. He's walking fine, so clearly Luengo is okay. It's probably just a cramp. Donini trying to send the ball on, looking for the through ball. It's cut out. Central Methodist opting just to clear it out and away. Now they're dribbling out of the pressure. A great ball as Johnson gets onto it with pace, booking towards the adjacent net. Can he finish this in a miscue of a shot? He was looking to have the final nail in the coffin, put this match to rest, trying to send in a nice curling shot. You could tell he was trying to make a connection with the outside of his right foot, trying to curl it, looking for that top right corner, this near corner of the net. And he just miscued it, hit it with the inside of his foot while curling it, lifting his body, and it spiraled nowhere near the target. Another example of that pressure going towards those 50-50 balls. That was a poor pass, but still great awareness from Sanchez, who has played all 90 minutes for the Eagles. As we have just 6 minutes remaining, and it seems as though the Central Methodist bench and supporters are already celebrating. Each one of them are standing on the bench, ready to rush the field to celebrate this title. It's just been a lackluster approach from Missouri Valley. The entire match, from the first whistle, they had no motivation. The first 10 minutes were all Central Methodist. There were 2 attempts, 2 attacking opportunities for Missouri Valley in the first 15 minutes before the goal from Alessandro Salvadego, excuse me, that changed this match for good. And now Central Methodist simply turning to that bunker approach the whole match. They've gained possession. They've tried to poke it away, and it's luckily fallen to a teammate or tactically fallen to a teammate. In the last couple of attacking opportunities from Missouri Valley, Central Methodist have simply rewarded that attacking mentality with a clearance. Good bit of gamesmanship there from Sabota. Trying to collect, but seeing the pressure coming on, stepping to the side and watching the ball as it gets cleared out and away. Central Methodist bench in no hurry to get this ball back into play. As the referee has called for the stoppage of play, it will resume with about 3.5 minutes remaining. 4.5, excuse me. Headed away. At times at this level and at other levels similar to it, you will see the center official. If it was a closer game, they may call for stoppage of clock on every stoppage of play. But here that is not the case. As it is a 2-goal lead, it's kind of hard to see a comeback, especially given the way that Missouri Valley has played. There, that play from Missouri Valley is a perfect example of how their match has gone. They're able to recover from the pressure. They clear it. And instead of running to meet the ball and then pushing forward with the ball, the players just wait. They try to slow down their run, collect possession, and then try to get cheeky with it, get a fancy touch to send it on. If you're down 2 goals, if you are clearly outmatched, even a man up, you cannot be trying to get cheeky like that. You cannot be trying to play mind games. You simply have to play soccer. You have to return to the basics. And they're resorting to the over-the-top attempt again. It's such a basic form of this sport. At times it works, but when you go up against a side that is as organized as Central Methodist, that is as gritty, as spirited as this team, it will never pan out. Missouri Valley trying to send another one over the top, looking for another attacking runner. Trucic in the box. Makes contact with a defender from Central Methodist. Both go down. Ball is cleared away. Just under 3 minutes remaining. Central Methodist have a runner on the far side. Subota is not able to get there as it is cut out from this near touchline. Goalkeeper Milosevic is taking the ball way out to the middle third of the pitch before laying it off. Good header on, but it just doesn't seem like there's anybody there for Missouri Valley. The ball gets cleared back towards midfield. Another ball sent in towards the box. It's collected. Pulled back, looking for the shot with the left foot. It's straight, just wide of the corner of the net. A great luck from Kanan Dos Santos as he tries to pull something back even for a pride goal with 2 minutes remaining. As his shot just goes about an inch away from the top left corner on the near side of your screen. Trucic trying to flick it on.
Here the student section start chanting, "Start the buses."
And another opportunity. This time it goes over the bar. All of the players from Missouri Valley appealing for a corner kick, and it has been awarded. Clearly there was either contact from the defender or the goalkeeper. I believe it was the defender. It took a decent deflection, still near the target. It will be a corner kick.
Vikings are showing just a tad more urgency in the past minute or so, but it might be just too little too late.
Especially with only 1 minute and 9 seconds remaining in this match. The referee now choosing to call for a stoppage of the clock. 1 minute and 4 left on the clock. Missouri Valley trying to pull back a pride goal at this point. Simply trying to say they scored. This time it's headed across the face of goal just past that same left corner. Another stoppage of play has been called by the center official. 54 seconds remain. And Central Methodist, it looks, will be crowned champions. As it seems the celebrations have already begun from the bench. Gatorade jugs are being prepared for Coach Nichols. Missouri Valley trying to get one last attempt. It's squandered. They gather it again. Sent to the far side, looking for the cross, in towards the box, and it's cleared away. Will be another corner kick for Missouri Valley. Under 30 seconds now. Needs to be taken quickly. An additional ball is on the pitch, but the corner kick is out of bounds. 10 seconds. And it will be the home team, the number 1 seeded Central Methodist University Eagles. They are your Heart of America Athletic Conference champions. The number 1 seed in the nation and the number 1 seed in the conference solidify their championship.
And we'll have the trophy presentation right here, too. The Eagles take down the Vikings 2-0.
Phenomenal play from the Eagles from the very first whistle. And you can see the spirit that Coach Nichols has instilled in this locker room, that he has entrusted with Sanchez to lead this team in the locker room and on the field. The connection, the camaraderie of this locker room is so apparent in the way that they played this whole match. Every single time a man got tired, someone else would come out and the whole bench would greet that player who was subbed off. Players on the pitch would high-five as they came on and off of the pitch. There's so much spirit in this soccer club. And you can see it here as they celebrate with their supporters, thanking them for coming out and supporting them. What a moment to be an Eagle.
As our friend Charlie Brown would say, after an Eagles win, it's a great day to be an Eagle.
They popped the smoke, given the adversity that came from the very beginning of the match in the 16th minute after a red card was shown to Alessandro Salvadego following his goal. Central Methodist University continued their grit, playing a man down almost an entire football match. They were able to push all the way through, get a second goal thanks to Theo Klein early in the second half. And thanks to the grit, the determination, the desire, and the passion of this locker room and this team, they can call themselves champions. Fantastic work by this organization. As they don their T-shirts in celebration, prepare for the medals to be handed out, for the trophies to be awarded. A reminder that the NAIA tournament will begin next weekend. The selection show will be on Monday, Monday, April 19th at noon Central Standard Time, 12 p.m. So tune in, as the Eagles will be some way a part of that tournament to find out their seed. At this point, they're going to be the number 1 seed. There's no way for them to not be the number 1 seed, having come into this match, being the number 1 seed, claiming victory, winning their conference.
And being down a man this entire match.
That is such a pivotal part of the story. Remarkable fight from this team. Even when they went down a man, they did not look like it. I even said during the game, at any given moment, if you had tuned in, you would assume that Missouri Valley was winning this game by the way that they were standing, slowly, calmly possessing the ball. They looked lethargic. On the other half of the pitch are those men down there celebrating in blue and green, They had the grit. They had the determination. A fantastic showing from everyone wearing green and white tonight for Central Methodist University. From the top with Coach Nichols all the way through to the last man on the roster, this team, they are champions, and they have earned every single ounce of that title.
They absolutely did. Great day to be an Eagle. As Central Methodist Athletic Director Natasha Wilson calling the Eagles back out to the field for the trophy presentation. Let's listen.
Conference champion, and also your Heart of America tournament champion.
A phenomenal showing from a phenomenal organization, coming into it as the 1 seed and cementing that those standings are right. An 18-1 in the regular season across a wonky schedule, a season that was divided from the fall into the spring, spanned across 2 years. They fought through COVID protocols. They fought through awkward Midwestern weather, snow, rain, sunshine, doesn't matter. This team showed up every single match and proved it here tonight as they get crowned champions of the Heart of America Athletic Conference.
And you know what? It's far from over.
It is far from over, Nick. You are exactly right, as these men will go on to compete in the NAIA tournament, which will be next weekend from the 22nd through the 24th, is the first round of that tournament. A champion will be crowned of the nation. These men have shown their grit in the conference, but now it's time to go on a bigger stage, to the higher stage, the highest stage of collegiate soccer here in the United States, and take on a national tournament.
Yeah, of course, and they will be going for their second title in 4 years.
The start of a dynasty, some may say, Nick.
I believe so. Coach Nichols has done an outstanding job with this squad. You know, fighting the way that they did tonight as they continue the celebration down there, as Rachel Moore and Natasha Wilson down there taking pictures of your Eagles.
Absolutely. You could see the center official having conversation with a few of the players, discussing why he awarded the red to Salvadego.
Doesn't look like there's much of an argument going on down there. He's maybe a few jokes, but
just ensuring that he's aware of what the reasoning behind it. It's a good call by the referee, ensuring that it won't happen again in the future. But thank you to all of you for tuning in to this broadcast of the Heart of America Athletic Conference Championship match for men's soccer here on the campus of Central Methodist University in Fayette, Missouri, as the number 1 seed Central Methodist University Eagles have defeated the number 2 seeded Missouri Valley College Vikings in a 2-1 fantastic match that is bound to go down in the history books for this fantastic organization, as they are crowned champions tonight. And on Monday, they will find out who their next opponent is as their postseason continues into the NAIA tournament at noon on Monday. For my associate, Nick Thomas, my name is Tristan Jordan. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a fantastic evening.